go.
Are we live?
We're good. We're there, mate.
Sorry, I thought we were waiting for. We had a bit of music last week, so we're going to go live straight away. Welcome to episode 38 of the SNLF podcast. I've been told to say season 2, episode 38, but it's not. We haven't done 38 episodes of season 2, so we're going to go episode 38. But we're in season 2, so sponsored by New Style Apparel, the hottest new clothing line for the football casual, coming your way very soon. So it's me, the food guy Gareth. Today, I'm joined by Dugout Mike and the stat man Chris. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, doing all right, mate. Had a great week. Looking forward to this. Looking forward to speaking to our guests as well.
Yeah, me too. Now, it isn't a full house. Trev's decided to go to the Sportsman to watch Littlehampton Town versus Bognor. Don't blame him. For me, that's a Monday bank holiday game. I don't know about you. Shouldn't be played on a Wednesday midweek. That's got to be Monday bank holiday. But we won't dwell on that too much. Our guest with us today, you can probably see him if you're joining us live, is Liam Giles. Gilesy is a manager at Horsham YM, not YMCA anymore. Horsham YM, which has taken Mike and Trevor a little bit of getting used to. But how are you, Gilesy?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Just down watching our 23s down at Roffey. So I've come to the car to get a bit of peace and quiet.
Excellent. It's nice to see you watching the 23s. I guess there's sort of a real pathway between the two, right?
Yeah, 100%. You know, when I came in at YM, it was one of the things that I wanted to get corrected because we didn't really have a real pathway. The 18s, 23s, first team didn't. It was pretty much 3 separate sides, effectively. So we revamped it this year. And we've got a one club sort of ethos. So the pathway from the 18s, 23s, first team, it's wide open, and hopefully we can keep it going, for years to come.
Excellent. Now, I touched on it a little bit a second ago. Can you explain the reason behind the losing of the YMCA to the YM? Because some people have just seen it happen. Some people might have seen something come out on the club's Twitter and Instagram and website. Can you explain a little bit about that for us?
Yeah, I'll let you know as much as I know. So, effectively, the YMCA being a charity, they no longer wanted to be linked to sporting activities as such, is my understanding. So there was a whole, as things are going at the moment, there's a lot going on behind the scenes about purchasing the ground from the YMCA. Don't know how much I'm really allowed to say about that, but hopefully things are on the right track there. That's all it was really. So it was a case of everybody knows Horsham YMCA, people call them Horsham YM. So for a name change, it was just easy just to stay as Horsham YM, drop the CA, and then they were happy for us to continue obviously with our name because it was no longer YMCA.
Okay. No, look, I think I'd read what had happened and I kind of got it, but it's going to take people some getting used to, isn't it? It's one of those when you try, especially doing this, sometimes you just reel them off one after another, and then you get the Horsham YMCA, and it's not happening. I've got it. Let's down to everyone else to get it now. Look, let's look at this season. It's a good start to the season. 3 from 3, including an FA Cup win. But a real test this weekend against Three Bridges, right? How are you going to approach that game?
We'll approach it like we do every game, really. I know it might sound cliche, but we prepare ourselves extremely well. We watch every opposition that we play. We've got someone out there doing that for us this season, so we'll have an idea of what they've been doing, and we will look at how we're going to set up. We might tweak a few things, which I think is only natural to suit maybe some threats they have, or if there's any weaknesses, which doesn't seem like there's a lot at the minute considering the way they've started. But we'll prepare like any other game. We train tomorrow. We'll have a light session, tactical. We'll do some analysis in the club after. Then we're the underdogs going into that game, so the pressure's off us. We've got a very, very young group this year. I think last night our average age was 22. So, take the pressure off the boys because they've had a lot of information, a lot of detail, and we've been on them. It's been a heavy load through pre-season to the start of the season. So, yeah, it'd be nice to go in, pressure off, and see if we can cause a bit of an upset.
Yeah, wicked. Look, since revival, you've made some really good signings, right? Jordan Brown, Khalid Babakir, Tristan Pereira, and others this summer like Lewis Taylor, Cade Castleman, Tommy McKenna. What qualities do you prioritise when you're recruiting these players?
For me, I like to play a certain way, a certain style of football. I like to play on the front foot. I like to play with aggression, high intensity, energy. So, that's first of all something that I look at. We need to be fit, we need to be mobile, we need to be energetic. I also, I was quite lucky to finish the season with, I think, 11 players I retained. And we ended the season very well. So it was a case of being able to just go and look at what I identified that we needed, and make sure they were the right character, right? Because that's a big thing for me. It's not always about the player, it's about the person. And they have to fit into what we want to do and abide by our standards and our culture. So that's a very big thing. But look, we knew there were certain areas that we needed to strengthen. We sort of went into the last few games. We gave a few under 18s their debuts, to 16-year-olds. One in particular, Tom King, he scored, I think, two in four at the end of last year. Scored the winner against Haywards Heath, the equaliser against Lingfield. So we were pretty down to bare bones, but I do believe that if they're good enough, they're old enough.
Yeah, no, wicked. And look, one final one for me before I pass over to Mike. How do you envisage Horsham YM progressing over the next 2 to 3 years? Not just on the pitch, but also off the pitch as a club. Because I mean, we've already seen it. In my opinion, we've already seen it from last season to this season, and we're only sort of 2 or 3 games in. There seems to be a shift. I see it with the social media side of it, but there seems to be a shift with that. So, how do you see it going for over the next 2 or 3 years?
Well, for me, it's exactly that, right? It's a shift of mentality, and it's about changing the narrative of Horsham YM being, no offence to what before I walked through the door, it sort of felt quite stale.
Yeah.
That there hadn't been a lot of change, same sort of group of players, off the field, a lot needed to change. I think that, the committee are superb. Obviously everyone's a volunteer, and quite the older generation, shall we say, and it's just sometimes, like I say, it's just mentality shift about certain things, and I am all in, and I think anyone that you speak to at that club since I've been there will say that I am quite demanding, but that's not on, what I want from them. It's just in terms of like standards around the place. So, making sure that it's a club that people want to return to, trying to get bums on seats, going into the local community. I've just gone into with our new chairman, Steve. We've just gone into the local primary schools, and we're trying to get people in through the door that way. Schools initiatives and stuff like that. So where I'm looking for us to be is to, we're not going to be Horsham anytime soon, because they've just totally blown out of sort of county football and Isthmian football, and are in a completely different market now. But we're hoping to be in the local area, especially as a county side. We should be the biggest in the area, in my opinion. Our facilities are nice, so it's just about getting to that stage, and everyone pulling together. As you said, like the social media, I'm big on that. I think that being visible and things looking good will entice people in. We've actually got a fun day coming up, Bank Holiday Monday, which is obviously the 25th, 11 a.m. kickoff, and we've got like Capital DJ there, live singers, bouncy castles, face painting, loads of different things to, you know, try and engage with the local community. So yeah, like I want to take the club to the Isthmian. That's my personal ambition. You know, within the next 3 years, that's where I'd like to see us. And personally, if we're not there, I would look as it's been a bit of a failure on my part.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. Obviously, within the Horsham area, there's so much competition. Take Horsham Football Club out of it. You've got Roffey, you've got yourselves, you've got Broadbridge Heath, all competing at sort of step 4 and 5. It's a lot, and it's a lot of competition for players as well. So, look, credit to you guys with what you're doing. And I look forward to coming. I haven't been to Goring Meads for a couple of years, so it'd be nice to come down and say hello. Mike?
Gaffer Charlesy, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
One of my day oneers. People that don't know, Charlesy did the second ever Dugout Diaries when nobody even knew what the hell we were doing back then. But I've got a couple of questions. You know, I come and saw you pre-season. You showed me around the ground and that. Did a bit of filming with me, which I appreciate. What you done different this year? Because you had a few months to bed in last year. And you sat down with me. You're a bit like playing poker. You didn't want to give much away. But you could tell there was something different, something smelling a bit different about you. And that. What's been happening with the recruitment? Because I know you've done it differently this year. Talk to me.
I think it was very hard when I first came in at YM. Obviously, in December, a mass walkout of players. Which, you know, ultimately it happens. Very loyal to Dean, who'd been at YM as manager for a long time, as a player for even longer before that. And, you know, credit to Dean, a real club man who, you know, a legend of the football club. So, you know, they had their reasons. They were with Dean, they were loyal to him. So I just
Sounds going.
Giles, I think your sound's going, mate.
Either your sound's going or you've been smoking too many fags, lad.
No.
Or you're going for the next Dalek role in Doctor Who.
YM ain't paid their bill for his broadband.
Oh,
Any better?
that's better. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, it sounds a bit bad on my end, but sorry. Yeah, so obviously
you're underwater, mate. Tomorrow. You're underwater. Pop back out. We'll keep you warm. Pop back in. Well, that's Liam Giles there, as we say.
Yeah.
So I went and saw him pre-season. Yeah, and he was quietly confident. Then they went and rolled over Bromley. What was it, 6-1? Then they went and beat Whiteleaf, who got to the FA Vase, whatever you call it, final in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know? Here he is. Are we still? You there?
Sounds still not very good, is it?
Nah, he ain't there.
Jazzy, look, you go back to your 23s game, mate. Thank you so much for coming on.
If ever I've seen an excuse to get out of a podcast,
we'll nah, it's not working. But we'll catch up soon. And Mike will get you back on, I'm sure.
All right. Liam, we'll catch up. I'll bury you.
All the best for the rest of the season, Liam.
Cheers, Jazzy. Thank you.
Hopefully, under 23s exterminate their opponents tonight.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, guys. Right, that was Liam Giles there. At least we got some questions in. And I'd spent ages coming up with those questions. So we'll take.
Oh,
guys,
worth saying. I mean, I would have said it to him if he'd still been around, but they've got off to a belting start in the Prem. I mean, beating, it was Peacehaven at home on day one, and we know that they're no mugs, and they ended last season like a train once they got back home. But they beat them 1-0, and then last night, I mean, he was quite critical of his team, despite the result.
Yeah, I saw his Instagram interview.
Yeah, but
I like that. I like it though. You've got to have that sort of desire to do more, haven't you? you can win every game. But as long as if you can improve, then there's always that sort of desire to move on, isn't there?
Correct.
I said don't sleep on them this year.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
And I tell you what, it doesn't work with a big budget at all either.
No.
I know that. You know, he recruits well. You've got to bear in mind he's coached at a much higher level. He's also coached over in those Kent leagues, and they're all big lads over there. So he understands what he's doing. His recruitment's been good. When he was at AFC Croydon, he built up a great network of people in there. He's also, I actually spoke to him on the phone earlier today. He gave me a call at lunch, and he's got some geezer that goes around now watching all the games. They don't watch YM. He just watches all of the games and gives a massive report. You know, little fine margins like that. I know a lot of other teams do it, but it's little strings they're adding to the bow.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the difference, isn't it? At step 5, you get to step 4 and 3, 2 and upwards. They have that sort of that scout that can go and scout out opponents. They don't have that at step 5, really. A lot of them are mates, but for Gilesy, that's going to be that could be the difference between sort of playoffs and not playoffs, right? So
I reckon they'd definitely get playoffs this year.
100%. I think last week we all did say I think they'll be up there in and around. I can't remember. Oh look, Chris has written it down, hasn't he?
Yeah, I genuinely have written it down as well.
I thought you had. You went straight for your book as soon as I said that. I just go off what I thought I might have said and hope. But look, where we all
did, yeah.
So we all did.
No, a couple of us did.
A couple of us. Can you get a name?
I certainly did.
Or maybe it's 3 actually. Oh yeah, sorry. I was just looking at 3 out of the 4 of us did. Sorry, Gaz, not you.
It wasn't me.
I don't think so. If I've read my writing, you had Hayward Heath, Stenning, Guernsey, New Haven, Crawley Down.
Okay, I went for a couple of rogue ones.
But nothing's won in August, is it?
No, exactly. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Apart from the SPL, that's generally won in August.
Right, let's move on, guys. Where have we all been this week?
Well, I had a week off, pal.
Yeah,
I had a party to get to, and but I've got some busy times coming up over the next few weeks. And I'll tell you what, the old wife was right on my case, mate, all the time. You know, like I took her away. I took her away to Barcelona. We didn't do anything, didn't see anything football-wise. She's still mate. Yeah. Right? I think, I can get away. Maybe catch a little cheeky game last Saturday. No, going to a family party. Luckily, there was a hell of a lot of booze there, and I made the best of what I could of it.
I think anyone that's got you on Instagram, mate, saw your live and saw your bottle of wine and the guy with the guitar and everything. So
yeah, what people don't know is the next day I had a cricket final at 10:30 in Horsham, right? Beautiful pitch as well, and I got run out for 4 runs for my own problem. I didn't even put the bat down. I was walking around. I was still gone, mate. But anyway, that's a different story.
No, Chris, where have you been, mate?
I went to Three Bridges to watch Town. I'm going to put this diplomatically. We came out on the wrong side of a 5-goal thriller.
Okay.
By which I mean we lost 5-0.
Yeah.
It was all going so well. We started well. 20 minutes in, I think we probably shaded it. But then I went to the bar and Bridges scored. So make what you will of that. And then second half,
when that happens.
Yeah, we have we worked out. We found out before kickoff we've signed Lucas Rodriguez on loan from Horsham. And then he got 2 bookings in a minute in the second half, and it all went to pot. Reece Hallard scored a hat trick. 2 were pretty simple. 1 was a pen, but the second was just I think he took the ball. His first touch was a roulette, and then he just curled it around Winnie from about 20 yards. So and he bagged again last night as well. So yeah, not a great start. And Town are currently playing Hastings in another game that probably shouldn't be a Tuesday night. Probably should be about a bank holiday Monday.
Yeah,
it's currently goalless. Goalless at the Pilot Field.
Okay, excellent. I spent Saturday at Old Trafford with 65,500 other people for a pre-season friendly. That's probably about 64,000 more than they get at the Etihad every week, but we'll leave that there. And then last night I went to Stenning to do this season's burger review. Having said that, they had no burgers on offer at Old Trafford on Saturday. I had to have a pie. I had a pie. It wasn't the end of the world.
It looked like a mince pie. It was about that big, mate.
It was. I mean, I've got big hands, but it was tiny. Chicken bolty. Unlike the burger last night, which was absolutely massive. Let's get on to that now. So yeah, Stenning Town last night. They obviously won it last year. With a 9.5 out of 10. This year they wanted to go higher. They wanted to get more. I asked for my bacon double cheeseburger, as you do. Burger, perfect. Cheese melted, bacon well cooked, toasted bun. The burgers, I might add, come from Stenning Butchers. So really good quality burgers. Look, it's a 9.5. They were trying to get more, and they tried to get more by adding onion rings to my burger. They went. I said, "Look, I'm going to give it the same as last year." And, yeah, but we put onion rings in. I went, "You get nothing for bribery in this game." So
they would have if they gave it to me.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I need to be fair, Michael. I need to be fair. But no, 9.5. Very, very good burger. I appreciate when you see a picture. I'll put a picture up in a little bit. When you see the picture, it is something else.
Well, fair enough. That's the burger review over for the rest of the year, and the league table done.
Yeah, Stenning Town top of the entry-level Bundesliga.
Well, after last night, I don't think they weren't that great last night, to be honest with you. But we'll get onto that in a little bit. The burger was probably the best thing about it, to be honest with you. Mike, you can be bought for a pint, according to Lee.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah. So look, the burger review, yes, it's done, but it doesn't mean that they can't be beaten. Like, there's got to be someone out there that can topple them. I'm looking forward to going to Wick actually, because they've now got the old Cox Kitchen from Worthing in there. So that could be an interesting one. See how they are. Like, that'd be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah, they've been crying out for a bit of food for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And like when you've got one of the committee telling me not to bother going there because their food shit, crap. I mean, rubbish. Yeah. So look, I'm really looking forward to that. I'll get down there at some point as well.
I thought that was Hassocks.
No, that was the chairman at Hassocks that said that.
Shout out, Pat.
Yeah, shout out, Pat. Look, let's get into it. Team of the week. We had a bit of a debate this afternoon. We all got involved in it today because we sort of forgot it. We're going to bring it back. Team of the week, team of the month. This is the first one for the month. We're taking into account all the fixtures from the 2nd up until the 9th, but not including Tuesday this week and Wednesday. So they'll go into next week's. Okay.
I think this is controversial, by the way.
Do you?
I think this is very controversial.
Look, in what way? Go on, Mike.
In the way that I actually think there's teams that deserve it more than what you've given it to.
Okay.
But
well, should we go through the runners and riders then?
Yeah. Go through who was in contention.
Well, we can do that.
I think
contention. In contention, we had Stenning, Seaford, Ringmer, Three Bridges, Haywards Heath, AFC Walcountians, Jarvis Brook, Littlehampton, Forest Row, Burgess Hill.
I think that's a fair group of company there, especially as they've all had great starts.
Yeah. And between the group of us, we all sort of voted for 2, and then I pulled rank a little bit and said, if it's a tie, then I'll pick it. The 2 that we went that it was sort of narrowed down to were AFC Walcountians and Jarvis Brook, both of which won 5-1 in their first game at Step 6. Look, I pulled rank and gave it to AFC Walcountians. Now, I'm going to explain my reasons for that. They won 5-1 in their first game at Step 6. Okay? Both stepped up, both won 5-1. The only difference for me in the 2 is that AFC Walcountians beat Arundel, who up until that game hadn't lost a game since February of this year. The only game they did lose was a playoff semi-final in a penalty shootout to Forest Row, who went on to gain promotion. That, for me, was enough to edge them out. The last team to beat them at home was Seaford on the 18th of February.
Okay, I suppose you can back up the decision there. I think it was. I think there's a few teams out there that probably could have definitely got it. I know Trev called rank on this and didn't include the Tuesday games.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Which you would have put the likes of Ringmer in there with Tommy Haddon and what he's doing down there, right up there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Shoreham.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A lot of teams have been writing them off. Oh, Low Edward stuff. Look, 2 wins. Guernsey, 2 wins. YM, 2 wins. Do you know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
Can't count that Tuesday night.
No, and look, there's another 30 odd weeks of the year left to go yet. So, I just think AFC. I can't even say Walcountians.
That's the only reason you don't want them getting it.
Yeah, but look, Mo down at Godalming got him in town. He had a great start as well. We don't know enough yet about AFC. I just feel giving them the TO team of the week early doors. Hey, you justified it. You justified it perfectly.
They ended a team's winning streak that dates back to February. So for me, that was enough to separate them from Jarvis Brook. It's not to say Jarvis Brook won't be there. And they've just come up. Yeah, we've got about that.
Come up and won 5-1 away, didn't they?
Yeah, to Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, when I was looking at, obviously we were debating it this afternoon, and I had the same thought as Gaz in that, who were their opponents? Were they up to, what were their opponents up to? And, I think, was it Ringmer beat Copthorne, who I think got a reprieve. And Selsey were down that low, were much nearer that relegation battle than they were the playoffs. Whereas Arundel, and again, momentum strikes. I mean, I would have asked Jalsey about it had he not turned into a Dalek. But the way Horsham YM, they ended the season on a real high note. They won 3 in a row, or they really got on a bit of momentum, probably more than they'd had since the start of the season. And they seem to have carried a bit of that forward into this season. And same can be said for Godalming, actually. Beating Loxwood.
He's done a great job down there. Absolutely fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there were other opportunities as well. But I just thought of the 3 who we considered in Division 1, I swayed for Walkout based on the fact that it was just until the Sunday Walkoutians. If it had carried on to the Tuesday, I might have even said Burgess Hill. Given the way they've taken.
Let's not dwell on it. AFC Walcountians, congratulations, first team of the week for the season. We've got another 3 more to come over the next few weeks, which will then give you 4, and then the vote goes to you as to who wins team of the month. Look, who knows? Walcountians might go on for the rest of and win the rest of the month. So they might end up as team of the month. But look, we've given it to them. I've justified why I've given it to them, which a lot of you were moaning about last year as did they just get it for friends and that sort of thing. No, they didn't get it for friends. They got it because they took this level up from step 7 to 6 and went and beat a team that hadn't been beaten since in the league in the league since February last year. So
And,
well done,
and,
AFC
and
Wolverhampton.
we've stepped up the trophy game as well, haven't we? We put a few more quid into the kitty in there. So they're decent trophies. So
we have.
Well, what's next on the agenda?
Well, score updates as we approach half time in our two local games. So in the South Central, the West Sussex derby, it's Littlehampton 1, Bognor Regis 0. Zion McLeod. Yeah, Zion
McLeod that got injured last night, is it?
Yeah, I thought he was on death's door, but he's recovered well.
Sorry, that Zion scored?
Yeah.
Last night he was on the floor for about 10 minutes. He popped out his shoulder.
He's well rested. He's well rested then. No,
that boy's built different. He is.
Indeed,
it's a miracle, isn't it?
And unfortunately, from the pilot field, and I'm not making any attempt to hide my bias here. Yeah, Hastings 1, Town 0. Someone with about 14 names.
Okay.
Has scored.
Do you want to say the name?
No. Cadillo, Carvalho, Fernandez, Cravid.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's your score update. Look, we've talked about it. We've talked about the 3 teams that have come up. Should we start the fixtures for this season at step 7 for this week? We're going to start at step 7 because 2 out of our 3 step 7 sides resume this week. We'll start in the Mid Sussex Premier. Okay, we've got Battletown at home to Reigate Priory Reserves. Holland Sports are at home to Cookfield Rangers. Hollington United host Crowhurst. Polegate Town are at home to Lindfield. Punnetstown host Bolcombe. Shoreham Seconds are hosting French's Athletic. And Westfield, the other team that were involved in our road to step 6, start their campaign for promotion, I'm assuming, at Rotherfield. I'm assuming they'll be going for it again this year. So that's the Mid Sussex Prem. All of those are 2 o'clock kickoffs. And then we'll start in the Skeffel Div 2. All of these are 3 o'clock kickoffs, where Alfold, who were relegated last year, host Upper Beeding in their opening game of the season. Capel host ASC Brighton Rangers. Chichester City B host Rustington, who are now sharing, obviously, at Wick in a hope that I think that they could probably go up if they win the league this year. Ferrin hosts Brighton Electricity. Hailsham Town hosts Worthing Town, but that is at Peacehaven. Thanks for that, Chris. Storrington host Bosham, and TD Shipley are at home to Rudgwick.
Can I mention something about that Storrington game?
Yeah, of course you can.
I've been given the keys to the bar, haven't I?
That's probably the least profitable decision Storrington have ever made.
You can tell they're ground sharing now.
You know, I put out a message last time. Someone give me a chance behind the bar to do a little bit of streaming. They only answered the call, didn't they? old chairman, and he's allowed. Yeah, so I'm going there on Saturday. Lovely day. It's going to be a really hot day. They're doing a barbecue as well out there. First game of the season for Storrington against Bosham, and they're going to let me do behind the bar and do all the streaming. So that is going to get absolute carnage behind there. I don't know what they're letting themselves in for.
You know you can't be drunk and serve alcohol at the same time, though, right?
So
I'm only winding you up, mate. I'm only winding you up. Just the look of sheer terror came across your face then when I said you can't be drunk and dishing out booze. No, look, great. If you want to go down and see Mike on Saturday, I'm sure he'll charge you double for a pint to get some money behind Storrington as well.
And big shout out to Football League Adventures, Lee Penn. He's going to be doing it down there as well. On there,
is he going to be behind the bar as well?
Nah, he's going to be doing his normal.
He's doing his business.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked. Right, let's move on to. We're going to start backwards. We started at step 7. We're going down to step 6 now, or up to step 6. The results from Saturday are as follows: AFC Uckfield and in town and Infinity shared a 3-3 draw. Arundel, as we mentioned earlier, went down 5-1 to AFC Woolcountians. Copthorne lost 3-1 to Ringmer, another team that were promoted from step 7. Dorking Wanderers B and Billingshurst shared a 4-4 draw. East Preston and Saltdean United shared a 3-3 draw. Godalming Town beat Loxwood 2-1. That's a fairly local derby as well, to be fair, for a first game of the season. Mile Oak beat Reigate Priory 2-1. Oakwood and Worthing United shared a 2-2 draw. My understanding that one is Oakwood were 2-0 down at half time and then came back in the second half with 2 late goals. And then Jarvis Brook won 5-1 away to at Selsey. Again, another team that had been promoted from Step 7. Now, on Tuesday, we had the Peter Bentley Challenge Trophy. East Preston lost 2-1 to Infinity. Godalming and Reigate Priory shared a 1-1 draw, and Godalming went on to win 8-7 on penalties. Loxwood went down 4-2 at home to Dorking Wanderers B. Ringmer again won 2-0, but away at Saltdean United. And Worthing United beat Mile Oak 1-0 in that one. Anything stick out for you guys there? Other than struggling.
Saltdean, they're having some tough times over there, aren't they? What is that? What is that? That's 9 wins in 3 years, isn't it?
Something like that. I don't know, but I'm not going to get into that. I don't know if you're being serious or not.
No, I am.
It sounds definitely sounds feasible. I mean, I've just been outstatted.
I know that one. I was in a club.
Just been outstatted. Come on, Chris, get on with it.
I just heard that today. But you got to give those guys a chance down there. I went and saw the ground they're building. It looks beautiful. You know, they've had to rebuild again. But let's get into these games. There were some big ones, some big results, mate.
Yeah, I think what sticks out for me is all three Step 7 sides winning their first games, and then I think Ringmer, that's their 3rd game they've had, because they played, I think, in the FA Cup extra preliminary round.
Vars.
So they've FA Vars preliminary round. So they've had 3 games.
I tell you, they're building something special down there, mate.
They are.
They really are.
I think we saw it last year, didn't we? I think all 3 of us were there for that on non-league day, and you could see there's a little bit of a buzz around the club. And Tommy has obviously stepped up his social media presence as well with Diary of a
Mind of a Gaffer.
Check
that out. Well, good. That is.
Yeah, it's really good. He does an update every morning about what he's been doing the night before. Mate, absolutely love it. And they got big game on Saturday. At home to Ringmer, first game at their ground, Step 6, sorry.
And at home to East Preston, I think you mean.
Home to East Preston.
Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it?
You said Ringmer at home to Ringmer.
Oh, did I? Good. Right, it is 20-9 on a Wednesday. Right, let's go on with the fixtures for Div 1. On Saturday, these are all 3:00 kickoffs again. AFC Upfield Town are at home to AFC Woolcountians. Billingshurst host Oakwood. Infinity host Mile Oak. Jarvis Brook have got a big test at home to Dorking Wanderers B. Loxwood host Copthorne. Reigate Priory host Arundel. Ringmer, as we were saying a second ago, host East Preston. Saltdean United are at home to Godalming Town. That's another big tie for Saltdean. And Worthing United host Selsey. And then on Tuesday, the 19th of August, all of these are 7:45, except for this one, which is a 7:30 kickoff. That's AFC Upfield Town against Mile Oak. And then these are all 7:45 now. The Woolcountians are at home to Copthorne. Arundel hosts Selsey. Infinity hosts Billingshurst. Loxwood hosts East Preston. Oakwood hosts Dorking Wanderers B. Ringmer are at home to Jarvis Brook. So that's the battle of the 2 Step 7 clubs. And then Saltdean United host Worthing United. That's another massive game there for Saltdean with Worthing United going there.
It'll be two tough home games for Saltdean there because Godalming we know all about from last year, and Worthing United have they started. I mean, admittedly it was a draw at Oakwood, but they're fancied to do well this year. So
they will.
It'll be interesting. The one that catches my eye there immediately, and you called it, is Ringmer Jarvis Brook. I think that's going to be really interesting to see where they're both at. Because obviously they're both off to a cracking start. That'll be a good watch. That I think
really will. It really will. So look, I'm just going to shout out, Chris. he's stepped up his level of stats to mean that I had to do very, very little prep for this evening. He sent out a PDF at about 2 o'clock this afternoon, 1:30, 2 o'clock, that's got all the results on it, all the fixtures that are coming up. I literally cannot thank him anymore. All I had to do was put in the Step 7 fixtures because I found out late that they're starting back this weekend. I should point out that West Sussex, the Premier Division, starts on the 30th of August, so we'll have a couple of weeks without them, and then they'll join in as well. Should we move on to the County Prem?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So on Saturday the 9th, we had Guernsey hosted their first game in the SCFL, and the Wick had the privilege of heading over there. Unfortunately, the privilege coming back was they lost 4-1. Bexhill United and Midhurst and Eastbourne shared a 0-0 draw. Eastbourne United went down 1-0 at home to Stenning. Hayward Heath won 4-1 at home to Seaford Town. Horsham YM won 1-0 at home to Peacehaven and Telscombe. Lancing went down 2-0 to Forest Row. Lingfield and Varndinian shared a 2-2 draw. New Haven won 2-1 at home to Roffey. Pagan won 3-1 at home to Little Common, and Shoreham won 2-0 at home to Crawley Down Gatwick. On Monday night, Varndinians hosted Bexhill. I think that was at New Haven, and they went down 3-2 in that game. And then Tuesday, so last night, Crawley Down Gatwick and New Haven shared a 2-2 draw. Little Common went down 2-0 at home to Shoreham. Roffey won 3-0 at home to Lancing. Seaford Town hosted Guernsey and went down 1-0. We'll come back to that game in a minute.
Yeah.
Wick went down 2-1 at home to Horsham YM. Forest Row won 1-0 at home to Eastbourne United. Midhurst and Eastbourne were down 4-0 at home to Hayward Heath. Stenning and Pagham had a 1-1 draw. We'll come back to that one in a minute. And Peacehaven and Telscombe won 5-1 at home to Lingfield. Right, let's go back to Seaford Town versus Guernsey. Now, we're not in the habit of slagging off referees here, and we're just going to take a diplomatic approach to it.
All right. Well, I've seen some of the footage from last night's game at the Seaford Guernsey game. Now, for people that don't know, Seaford had 3 people sent off in that game.
Yeah.
I can't say that any of them were a red. I mean, the last one, Tom Shelley's, he hasn't even kicked. He hasn't even. He's won the ball, and he hasn't touched him barely. You know.
I
think they've just. Actually, I don't care. I'll say it. I think they just had the guy in the middle's had a really bad day. He's had a bad game. You know. Yeah. I don't care. The FA can't say anything to me.
Look, we've got the advantage of having looked at that. The referee obviously saw it in full time and everything else. The video that I think I've seen, which I think is the Tom Shelley one, he hasn't made contact, but he has kind of. When you look at it, he's gone in sort of studs up. I'm playing devil's advocate here between everything else.
He is 6'6".
Yeah. I mean, I'm clumsy as well. I'm 6'4", right? It happens. He looks like he has gone in studs up, but he's nowhere near him. He's not hit him. Nah. But I can see potentially why the referee may have given a red. I'm not saying it is a red. Wisey, I promise you. I'll be honest with you, scared the living out of me sometimes. I've seen you on that touchline. Look, I'm not saying it is a red, but I think it might be a struggle to get it overturned, just purely based on the footage.
It was a raised foot.
It was a grainy sort of image, wasn't it? And I think it's one of those where another referee might have given a yellow for sort of intent, or given a yellow because there's been something going on. I don't think it was. I think it was. Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate because. The referee's angle might have been the players sold it so well that the referee's angle might have been there's some contact there. He's gone in pretty gung ho, and I'm going to give a red. And that's the way I think the referee would probably have looked at it. I'm trying to get us out of trouble here, Mike.
I don't care. I know
you don't. I know you don't.
Now, the only reason we spoke about it today was because there was 5 or 6, 8 or 9, maybe more than that, people that had messaged us that were actually at the game, and not club officials, not players, not coaches, and they were commenting on how the linesman was actually saying this is a disgraceful performance,
right,
from the man in the middle.
I say I wasn't there, and I have heard lots of people say that the referee had a bad game. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate for the one that I have seen, in that at full speed, the Guernsey player may have made a bit of a meal of it, and the referee's seen it at full speed and gone, do you know what, that's a red card. And that's the only way I can, because when you look back at the footage, which the referee will probably have seen now and probably realise that he's made a little bit of a howler there and has had a bad game, but you chalk it off. The problem is we keep going on at these referees, they're going to keep making bad decisions. There was another one I think I saw on Twitter today at the Ringler game last night with an 8.
That was Saltine. It was the 8 seconds Saltine one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they played Ringler, didn't they? Ringler and Saltine. I couldn't remember who it was.
No, you're right there.
8.13 seconds or something like that, I think, the goalkeeper. But that comes from catching the ball, falling to the ground, standing back up and putting the football on the floor. Was 8.13 seconds. And because it was over the 8 seconds, the referee gave a corner.
But to be fair, that's 8 seconds is the rule, isn't it? I mean, like, if you play it by the law, it's got it bang on. If you play it by how football should be played, it's just another one of those stupid rules, isn't it? Yeah. In my opinion. I'm sorry, in my opinion. Anyway, let's not have any more ref bashing.
No. Let's go to Steyning Town versus Pagham, where actually the referee had a pretty decent game, in my opinion. Steyning looked slow. They looked slow to start with. I think, they did. They looked a little bit lethargic, like nothing going on in the middle. Pagham made them work for their 1-1 draw. Like Pagham were good value, and actually, if Steyning hadn't have scored, what I used as a little bit of clickbait by saying, "Wow, it's a wonder goal," just to get a little bit of traction on social media, has caused me to get a little bit of grief on social media. I know it was a cross. I've even had a little bit of banter with Harry Heath today. It was a cross. You can't get away from that. This one's for you, Alex Lang. I know it was a cross. But look, I wouldn't have had more than the sort of 1,500 views on it across Twitter, TikTok, 1,500 views on Instagram, and about 5,500 on Twitter if I hadn't have put on there what a goal it was. It was a good goal, but it was a cross. Like, but you got to question the goalkeeping on that one as well, unfortunately. But look, Pagham will do well this season. Say again.
One of your tips, weren't they, Steyning?
They are, yeah. And I think they'll come good. I just think it's obviously a new manager, very new team, and I just don't think they're quite clicked.
Same with Pagham.
Oh yeah, Pagham looked, in my opinion, about 10 days to 2 weeks ahead of where Steyning should be, if that makes sense. Pagham looked good, and they will frustrate a lot of teams this season. They scored a very good goal. Yeah. So let's move on. Let's get the fixtures then. Go on.
Hang on. What about Forest Row and Avon Heath?
Well, I was going
to. We haven't got all day.
Forest Row have come up, and they've got 2 on the bounce.
They have.
No, they have. I think the one thing I would say, and I'll say this to the teams who've lost to, so Wick and Seaford, like some Haywards Heath, they've lost. Seaford lost to Haywards Heath and Guernsey. They're gonna beat some good teams this year.
Yeah, great.
Wick have lost to Guernsey. Wick have also lost to Horsham YM, who I think we can agree are going to beat some good teams this year. Like, just because you've lost the first 2, nothing's won or lost at this time of year. Great start for Forest Row, like you say. They held on against Eastbourne United last night. I wasn't there, but I was following the game sort of on Twitter, and there was sin bins and stuff like that. It sounded like Eastbourne United were huffing and puffing, but just couldn't blow the door down in the end.
They haven't got a goal yet, have they?
Who? Forest Row? No, well, they beat Lancing. They beat Lancing as well. At Culver Road.
Yeah.
So Interesting. Oh, please be an equaliser. No, damn it.
But look, we Horsham, no, Haywards Heath, obviously 8 goals, 1 conceded in 2 games. You can't shy away from that. I just picked out those games, the 2 that we sort of spoke about there, because we'd seen some footage, and I was at Stenning last night. I think Trev would probably back me up, and I think I briefly spoke to Joe Ben afterwards. He'd probably say something similar to what I just said there. It was quite slow in the build up. There was a lot of long balls when actually they're quite a good technical side, or they should be quite a good technical side. So don't necessarily need to play that long ball. Right, fixtures in the County Prem this weekend are as follows. On Saturday, the 16th of August, we got FA Cup action. We've already mentioned it once already. 3 Bridges are at home to Horsham YM. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff.
There's a couple more. Sorry, Gaz. I've absolutely sold you a kipper here with this.
Come on then.
I forgot. Bexhill, certainly. So Bexhill are at home to Harefield, I believe. Now, that game is taking place at the Saffrons in Eastbourne. If you go in, it's also Airborne in Eastbourne. Now, I live in Eastbourne. Yeah, and when Airborne's on, I refuse to drive anywhere because
that's the air show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. So if you go in, best of luck. I would advise you get the train. All in on that one.
Any other ones?
Any other ones? Well, now you're asking. Let's have a look. Yes, with Bex. So they're at home to Rains Park Vale, I should say. It's Lancing versus Harefield United. Seaford host Whiteleaf, which will be a really big one.
That'd be a big game.
Yeah, Eastbourne United travel to Sheppey. Stenning Town host Hendon. It's 3 Bridges versus Horsham YM, as we've said. And that's it for the FA Cup on Saturday. There's also 2 games in the Peter Bentley. Haywards Heath Town host Roffey, and Pagan travel to Wick.
Okay. Thanks for that, Chris. I weren't on my sheet, so...
Sorry, I ballsed up on that one.
No, that's all right. You're allowed to every now and again. Can't get everything right.
Sorry, Gav, just a comment come through saying someone guarantees Midhurst to go down this year. I can't see that.
Really? That's an interesting one. Interesting one. It's too early to tell, isn't it? I mean, they're 15th, aren't they? So we'll see. We'll see.
But again, who have they lost to? They've lost to Haywards Heath, who are fancied as winning the league this year.
Yeah, and they drew 0-0 with Bexhill.
Yeah.
So they actually look quite decent, to be fair.
Yeah. Let's move on. Carry on with the fixtures. Upcoming fixtures: Monday, the 18th of August. Forest Row host Shoreham. That's 3rd versus 4th, and then AFC Varndinians host Guernsey. Tuesday, the 19th, we've got Crawley Down Gatwick at home to Eastbourne United. Little Commoner at home to New Haven. Pagan travel to Roffey. That's a 7th. These are all 7:30 kickoffs. Seaford Town host Lingfield, and Wicker at home to Haywards Heath. Couple of 7:45 kickoffs. We've got Midhurst and Eastbourne at home to Horsham YM, and Stenning Town are at home to Lancing, and then an 8 o'clock kickoff at Peacehaven, home to Bexhill United.
Wow.
Just to come in on that Varndinians game, their magical mystery tour of South Sussex continues. So they're hosting Guernsey at Centenary Park, Peacehaven.
Okay, thanks. Did I miss that off there?
To be fair, you don't.
No, you did say it. You did say it on there. Thanks, Chris.
That's all right.
One thing you'll learn about me is I don't do as much prep as Trev does. I very much wing it normally. Wing it until I die. Normally, I die on my sword, and I'll just say it. But I have done a little bit of prep, which is good, because if I hadn't, then it would be even more chaotic than this. Let's move on to the Isthmian South Central. We've got a gaming going on tonight, which I think is still 1-0 to 1-0 to Littlehampton. I haven't seen anything come through on my phone with the miracle healer that is Zion McLeod getting the 1 goal after coming off injured last night. Let's go. The latest results from Saturday are as follows. AFC Porchester went down in a barnstorm of 5-4 at home to Bognor. I think at one point they were 4-1 up, maybe, and it finished 5-4. Yeah, and then Littlehampton with Zion McLeod again, I think, with a winner at home to Ascot United. I saw Ascot United a couple of years ago in the FA, maybe more than a couple of years ago actually, in the FA Vars, and they were like a really good outfit. So it'd be good to go and see them again. But both teams started off fairly well in life into the South Central. We won't do too much on that because that game's going, but we'll keep up score updates coming from there. Right, let's moving on into the Isthmian Prem. Results was follows. Broadbridge. Go on.
Can I? Do you mean Southeast?
Yeah, that's exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Told you. It's written in front of me as well. Isthmian Southeast. Results as follows. Broadbridge Heath won 5-1 at the weekend at home to Crowborough. Hassocks won 3-2 at home to Herne Bay. Hastings United and Erith Town shared a 0-0 draw. Three Bridges won 5-0 at home to Eastbourne Town. Chris?
Yeah, not great. No, I mean, Three Bridges obviously deserved the win. Like I said at the top of the show, like losing. We started off well, Town. First 20 minutes, I'd say we just edged it. Three Bridges then scored when I was at the bar. A nice finish by all accounts, but I can't say much about it. It looked a bit like, looking at the performance and obviously losing Lucas Rodriguez when we then conceded 4 in 20 minutes. We were a bit light in the centre of midfield. I mean, we had to bring off Harvey Gregg just before half time in case he got sent off, which didn't help. We still don't have much of a number 9. I mean, our number 9 from last year, James Stone, has gone to Sevenoaks. So we're a little light in some areas. And look, I'm not overly concerned about. I mean, obviously the scoreline paints a bad picture. When it was 11 versus 11, we were all right. There's still a couple of areas to address, but I have full faith that Jude absolutely knows what he's doing. So I think we'll be okay in the end. Fair play Hassocks as well. Last minute winner for them, or injury time winner from Alex Fair to get them over the line. So I'm pleased for them.
Excellent. Good. No, good. Go on.
Sorry, I thought it was a great result for Broadbridge Heath.
Yeah, massive.
5-1, because obviously speaking of Simo pre-season, wonderful guy. He was a bit concerned about where he was with the recruitment. You know, he'd lost a couple of players, everything like that. And to go there, because Crowborough are a decent team, mate. I know they're stepping up. But, he's got them cooking down there. And there seems to be quite a lot of people down there. Nice little vibe. So, long
and I'll tell you, defo. What I will say as well, great for Crowborough to bounce back in the way they did. Because they were 1-0. Yeah, they were 1-0 down at home at Hassocks at half time. And at that point, you're thinking, yes, Hassocks are taking to this well, but God, the Crowborough really need something. Fair play to them. They turned it round. Smickle got another goal, which will be great for him to start the season. Yeah, that's a big result for them.
Yeah, I say I didn't actually go through that. But yeah, look, I think Crowborough and Hassocks will be all right in that league this year.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
I didn't actually go through the fixtures on Tuesday, but Crowborough Athletic did win 3-1 at home to Hassocks after going 1-0 down. And East Grinstead went down 4-1 at home to Three Bridges. Now, I retweeted something last night, or reposted something last night, that apparently the East Grinstead fans were getting on the back of the players and the team and everything else.
What,
and
already?
I said, surely that's a bit soon. And then Mr. Statman himself piped up and put me straight back in my box. Have you got your stat there, Chris?
Yeah, oh God, let me pull it up. Yeah, one thing I did say, and again, I've kind of thrown Gaz a hospital pass here because I forgot to put on the sheet that AFC Whiteleaf actually beat East Grinstead 5-0 at the weekend as well. So a bit more context into some of the ill feeling that seems to be permeating around East Grinstead at the moment.
Don't you think it's early days though?
Well, you say that, but like I said on the show last week, like they finished last season off basically a cliff edge, and it wasn't just the fact that they were losing game after game. I think if they were losing by 1 goal here or there, you could kind of wear it, but the reality of the situation was they were getting gubbed more often than not. So when Gaz put that out last night, or made us aware of it, I said, actually, I can kind of see where they're coming from in one sense, like, because the stat I said was basically they conceded, so they've already conceded 13 in 3 games this season. Eastbourne United in 3. Yeah, and one of them was at home to Eastbourne United, who are obviously step 5. So that's 4. You've then conceded in the last 11 games last season, they conceded 39. So over the last 14 games, they're averaging 3.7 goals against. They've only scored 8 and they've conceded 52. And in half of those games, they've conceded 4 or more. So it isn't just the fact that they're on a bit of a bad run. They're getting gubbed a lot.
I might dust off my boots for a $5 a game, I'll tell you. I'll get a game if it's that leaky. It's not going to help, though, the fans getting on the coach and the players.
No, but from a fans,
but they've got a right to, though. They have a right to.
It's a guess trying to understand why they're thinking like that. And I said last week, to a bit of shock, that I thought East Grinstead would go, and they haven't done much to dissuade me from that yet.
So you reckon they're going, are they? You reckon they're going down?
Well, unless they beat Town on the 30th. But I
just think with August, you got to let them have at least 6 weeks in there, you know, and get to mid-September. If things that really ain't going well, then you start saying things. But
well, what I was going to say was
it don't help when you're a player. No. When you hear the negativity, when you hear all that, you know, they're human beings.
Of course,
they listen to the comments. They go on the forums. You know, it's well known, by the way, that Worthing's ex-player Cashman, he read every one of the forums. He read all of the comments, and he, you know, went into a shell a few times. But
well, I mean, shows you A, my age, and B, my upbringing. I still remember when Man City were so bad and the atmosphere around Main Road was so bad they wouldn't even do a warm-up on the pitch. They would actually do it at a school next to the ground, do it there so they wouldn't get abused. But I mean, what I said about East Grinstead and all the bad things there, I'll give them the same sort of caveat that I gave Wick and a couple of things in the county Prem, which is that who've they lost to this season? All right, put Eastbourne United to one side for a moment. They've lost to Whiteweath, who are going to beat some good teams this year, and they've lost to Three Bridges. And I've seen firsthand how good Three Bridges can be.
Three Bridges are a decent side, mate.
Yeah, I think they'll finish 3rd behind Margate and Sittingbourne. Was what I said pre-season.
I don't think you'd be far wrong off that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, there's no other fixtures then, is there? I'm guessing this weekend.
No,
Chris?
Well, apart from FA Cup games, which I'm not going to lie, I don't know about, with the exception of Three Bridges, Horsham, YM. I don't believe Hastings are in it. I'm going to have to play the 5th on that one.
Okay. Well, I don't have it in front of me and I hadn't prepared it, so here we are.
I know Town haven't got a game.
Just want to shout out Lee's comment here. Harefield lost 9-0 last night, so Lancing should stand a good chance of getting something out of that game. I mean, you might have just jinxed them there, Lee. I'm not going to lie to you. But look, hopefully Lancing gets something out of that game.
Yeah, I want them to as well, because they're rebuilding there. Give Dean Cox time there. He's got a young side. They're rebuilding as a club. Go and get the win. Then answers.
Yeah.
Go on.
Right. Moving on to the Isthmian Prem now. We are moving on to the Isthmian Prem because we've done the South East now. Results as followed. Chichester City and Folkestone Invicta shared a 1-1 draw. Lewis went down 2-0 at home to #United. Potters Bar, Burgess Hill beat Potters Bar 1-0 at Potters Bar. Ramsgate and Whitehawk. Ramsgate slightly edged out Whitehawk in a 3-2 win. On Monday night, Lewis went to Carl Shulton and won 2-1. So a nice little bounce back then. On Tuesday, Burgess Hill won 2-1 at Cray Valley Paper Mill, and Whitehawk and Chichester City shared a 0-0 draw. Guys, let's talk about Burgess Hill.
Let's talk about Burgess Hill. What Jay and Gary are doing down there. Great, you know, they've stepped up. They got a lot of stuff behind the scenes going on with the new owners that are not putting stupid money into the club, putting developmental money for the future. You know, rumours are they're getting the new 3G pitch. Is that confirmed yet, or have we just dropped?
I don't know.
No, I've heard that. I have heard that.
You have heard that, okay? Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. I think they scored. It was 2-1 last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But do you know what? When I saw them play Hayward Heath pre-season, they looked really leggy and pre-season. I've seen clips of where they are now, and they're worlds apart. They just need those extra few weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of people said they'd struggle as well. You know.
Yeah.
But they brought in some good players, and that look, they'll be fine. They'll be fine, and look, they're flying at the moment. Good on them.
Yeah.
They're not, and it's not like they're beating mugs either. I mean, Potters Bar weren't necessarily that near the relegation battle last year, and Cray Valley, I think Cray Valley Paper Mills finished 5th, and I was of the view that Cray Valley Paper Mills were A4s to be reckoned with, but nice little paper-based gag for you there. No, but seriously, they finished 5th last year. They were in the playoffs, and it was only Dartford who beat them. Like, they're no mugs. So to go there and win, fair play.
Doesn't Trev know someone down there? Was that where his mate is?
Yeah, Steve McKim is the manager at Cray Valley Paper Mill. He's a good friend of Trev's. He used to be at Tunbridge, and he's been a few other places as well. So
it's
we'll
not
find out from him.
It's not like they're a team who fold, you know.
No.
It's mad though, isn't
it?
Because
Chris,
we're all going on about teams that in trouble, teams that are doing well. For God's sakes, lads, we've had 2 games. Do you know what I mean? We're shooting the bolt a bit too early on some of these, I think. But what can you do? You've only got a couple of games, you know.
Yeah, you're talking me out of a job here, mate.
Football is a game of opinions, isn't it? And we're all allowed one. And we, unfortunately for you guys who actually tune in and listen to us, we have one. And it can sometimes get you in a little bit of trouble, sometimes come back to bite you on the arse. But there we are. Do you want the fixtures for the Isthmian Prem?
Yes, please.
Friday night, Burgess Hill travel to Aveley. They don't travel to Aveley, though. I can't remember who it is that Aveley play, where Aveley play, but they are there. It is Aveley, isn't it?
It is at Aveley, yeah.
No, it's hashtag that share with Aveley, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, because I don't think they can play anywhere in hashtag.
No. So that means Burgess Hill and Chichester are both travelling to Parkside, as Chichester travel to play hashtag United on Saturday. How have hashtag managed to get the Saturday 3:00 kickoff and Aveley got the 7:45 kickoff on the Friday?
Probably because the crowd that they'll bring. Money!
Yeah.
Money.
Lewis travel to Welling for a 3:00 kickoff, and then Whitehawk host Cray Valley Paper Mill on Saturday. Right. Finally.
We're going to need an update soon about Whitehawk, aren't we?
We are. Yeah. Where is he? Gone into hiding. He's busy man. Chris, we got any score updates, mate?
Let's have a scan. Well, as far as I'm aware, it's still 1-0 at the Pilot Field, which is depressingly annoying. And in at the Sports Field, it's still 1-0 to Littlehampton.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much. National League South. This one's a bit easier. On Saturday, the 9th of August, Chelmsford beat Horsham 1-0. Farnborough and Eastbourne Borough shared a 1-1 draw, and Worthing shared a 1-1 draw with Bath City. That Worthing one was a late goal, from what I understand, after a Joel Colbrand red card, shortly after Worthing went 1-0 up. And then fixtures, we've got Eastbourne Borough host Hornchurch on Saturday. That is an absolute banger of a game. And another banger of the game in Sussex is Horsham host Worthing, which, again, for me, should be a bank holiday Monday fixture.
It
shouldn't be a Saturday afternoon fixture. I understand that's going to be segregated, but Horsham and Worthing, both teams get on very, very well. I think there'll be banter flying around the ground, and I think there'll be a 2,000 and a 2,500 plus crowd at the Fusion Aviation Stadium on Saturday.
Right, mate. And I think it'd be a bit closer than what people think.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And then Tuesday, Horsham then travel to Chesham United, and Eastbourne Borough have got another massive game against Dover at home. And then Wednesday, 20th, Worthing travel to Farnborough. Right, guys. Worthing versus Horsham. I want predictions.
2-1 Worthing.
Okay.
1-1.
I'll go with Mike 2-1 Worthing. So I think it'll be a.
I thought I would have been potentially a little bit more harsher on Horsham, but I don't think Worthing have really got out the traps as much as so far.
No.
And again, Chelmsford are not one of them. Losing 1-0 at Chelmsford as a team with the journey Horsham have been on, that's not terrible by any means. Chelmsford will beat a lot of decent sides, I think, this year.
Chelmsford have recruited well this season, haven't they? From what I've seen, there's a lot of, not money, but I'm not going to use the word money, but there's a lot of players gone in there and have come from they've stepped down from levels above, shall we say. I think Joe Grimwood was at Barnet last season, who won the National League. I think he's there now as well. So, look, Chelmsford are they're not shy.
They'll be
Horsham, up there. They'll be up there. Horsham, I feel that Worthing might just have a little bit too much for Horsham, but you can't write Dom DePaolo off. He's done his mate Mark White at Dorking for the last 2 seasons in the FA Cup. They're now on an even playing field. They're both playing the same league. Like Horsham will make a good game. The Fusion, the crowd will be bouncing. Look, I think. Go on.
Just on that, Horsham, they lost a player today already, haven't they?
Yeah, Gianluca Botti. Like, what a player he is! I saw him at Lewis last year.
Yeah,
proper goal scorer.
What's happened there for him?
I don't know.
2 games in, because he's on there saying he's looking for step 3 agent. I'm looking for step 2 football.
Didn't he? Yeah. Didn't he leave Lewis for Tunbridge last year? Is that the guy?
Yeah.
Well, does he float around a bit? Does he?
Well, I think last year. Whether it was last year, he's been at Whitehawk, Lewis, and Tunbridge now. I think he was at Whitehawk. I might be wrong, but I saw him at Lewis. Yeah, I saw him at Lewis last year, and he is a very, very talented player. Looks a little bit like Alessandro. Looks a little bit like Pirlo.
Yeah, that's the one.
Interesting, that one, because I don't know what to make of that. To be honest with you, why is he gone? Is it a problem with he wanted to be starting and feels like he should be starting at a falling out with the manager? Look, we're not here to make assumptions, but there's got to be something deep down. I'm sure we can find out at some point. But
yeah, it's just only flashed up today, that's all. And he announced it before the club announced it.
Yeah, and the club announced it that he had left, and he announced that he was just looking for a club. So look, we will see on that one, won't we? Other fixtures, Eastbourne have got a big few days coming up. Hornchurch at home and then Dover at home. Obviously, Dover are a club that came up last year, I think. No. Dover, ex-National League club. Hornchurch have recruited well in the summer as well, so there's some big clubs going in there. But Horsham versus Worthing United, I think, is the standout tie of the weekend. Worthing, not Worthing United. I think I've got Worthing United's Twitter up in front of me on my phone, which is what prompted me to do that. But yeah, no, look, I think that's the tie of the weekend. Tie of the weekend. Whew, we made it through. I know where Mike's going this weekend. We'll chat that out again in a minute. Chris, where are you going this weekend, mate?
Well, I don't know. Town or otherwise engaged. Not engaged at all, not playing. So I'm at a loose end at the moment. I might do Bexhill versus Range Park Vale at the Saffrons. But it's colours on the chest. It's Wolves Man City at R5. So something near a pub would be good.
Yeah. No. Mike.
Yeah. Last call. Shoreham. Storrington FC. They've allowed me behind the bar. So I'm going to be your pub landlord for the day. Get down there. They're sticking on a barbecue. First game of the season is going to be a hot one. And loads of drink.
Are you,
Mike.
are you gonna go with like a white shirt, short sleeve, tie, trousers pulled up, shave your head, look a little bit like Al Murray, and go proper pub landlord? Ask people their names. A beautiful British name.
No, I've got beautiful hair under there. Look,
yeah.
I've gone a bit like the IB for Final Boss. Look at that. I've got beautiful hair, mate. I can't be doing that.
IB for Final Boss. He's hiding something underneath that hair, isn't he? There ain't a lot there.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to Ringmer versus East Preston.
Ooh.
This Saturday. So yeah, that's me. Right, socials. Mike, shout out your socials. Chris, you shout out yours while I find all the SNLF ones.
Yeah, you know the one that's come on at the SNLF DOD, the Dugout Diaries, and let's get on there. And everyone, thanks for your support again. Loads of you watching tonight live. Must again be another slow Wednesday night, but we do appreciate all the support. There is hundreds of you watching for some reason.
Which, considering again, it's Littlehampton Bognor and it's Hastings versus Town. It's it's two decent sized games in each half of the county. It's not bad.
Yeah. It's all those bots we got running in the background. That's what it
is. My socials, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's @_Chris Pryor on Twitter. It's going to be quiet for a couple of weeks for the simple fact of sample sizes, but it's once we hit the sort of 5-6 game mark, that's when I'll start ramping up.
Okie dokie. And you can find me at the SNLF Food on X and at the SNLF _food on Instagram. And then you've got at the SNLF.co.uk on Instagram and TikTok, at the SNLF on X as well. Come and interact. We're getting some really good numbers. Just to give you an idea, out of the last 30 days on Instagram, 48,300 people have seen the Instagram posts that we've put out. So there's some really good numbers in there. That's a lot more. That's 48,300 eyes that weren't on your club beforehand. So look,
double that. Surely.
What's that?
Yeah,
double that surely.
And
I don't know how many eyes you've got, mate. I've got 2. But
oh god.
And we might have a little update next week as well about something we've been cooking up in the background.
Absolutely.
But we don't want to say too much yet, but it might change the non-league game.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, thanks so much for sticking with us. If you stayed for the whole thing, then hats off to you, because I have bumbled my way through it once again. Give us a follow on all the social medias. If you see me put something out on TikTok or Instagram and it looks a little bit clickbaity, it probably is a little bit clickbaity. All right. I'm trying. I know it was a cross. That's all I'm going to say. Look, we'll see you next week. Follow us on social medias. Anything else from you guys?
No, love you all.
No,
thank you for the support. Look out for something special coming soon.
He's saying get down to Storrington. I don't know if he knows where I live.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
All the best, guys.
Bye-bye.